Mr. JJ Solomon.
This is Ray Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.
It's your boy, Mr. RTBA, Mr. 214, Senor Dos, Uno Cuatro, Senor Dos, Catorce, Mr. Undeniable, Mr. D Boy Can't Touch Me. On my worst day, right here with my partner in crime, my dog, my brother from another, Mr. JJ Solomon. What's popping, my guy?
What's going on, dog? I see you wearing that red shirt. Does that mean we're going to get some fire today?
Man, you know how we coming today, JJ, because we got a special guest. We got the man, the myth, the legend. Hold up, JJ. We got a guy on here with us tonight who really is a big time player, not only in the city of Dallas, Texas, not only in the state of Texas, but from the 214 to across the pond. We got Adrian Clark. He's in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the show, Adrian Clark, bro. AC Clark, how are you tonight, sir?
Good. I knew I was going to get a good introduction, bro. So I appreciate you bringing me out, fam.
Bro, we only have a few, like, certain characters to put in the title, and I was like, shit. We welcome to the show, CEO, best-selling author. Like, it just goes on and on and on, bro. But salute to you, dog. Salute and everything that's going on, and we're going to get into it here in a little bit.
Nah, for real, though, salute Adrian Clark, man. When I came in the game in 2016, you know, I had a chance to finally meet you. When I met you, you was already a big-time player. And just to see from 2016 to 2023, where you escalated, where you was from 2016, it's amazing, bro. Can you talk about the grind and the process of where you started from and where you're at now?
Man, it's been a journey, man. I mean, you said 2016. That's when things really started to pop for me. You know, I graduated college 2010, and I was like right into my career, helping out professional athletes, and I got into boxing, I think, summer of 2011. So since I was like 23, 24, man, I've been in the game, just trying to help out, trying to make my mark in the business, man. And it's like a blur. Things have went by so fast, man, but I'm just thankful to be here, man, and thankful to still be on the grind, even though I feel like I'm getting old. But it's still good. It's still refreshing.
Man, dog. In 2011, I mean, sounds like just yesterday, but that started to add up. So you got some skins on the wall. Yeah. Now we're gonna get back into this, but I just want to know, like, what got you started? Obviously, that's a question that everybody asks. What got you started? But let our audience know, how did AC Clark get into boxing, and then how'd you start caring about these boxers?
Well, I mean, my brother, man. My brother passed away in 2006, but that's who I dedicate my career to. Because, I mean, he used to beat me up all the time as a kid. And back then, you know, and growing up in Dallas, we just knew football and basketball. We didn't really know boxing was an avenue, man. So after my brother passed, I went down to Corpus Christi, Texas A&M in Corpus Christi is where I graduated from. I found boxing, or boxing found me. I started competing as an amateur while I was earning my undergraduate degree. I wasn't a good amateur, man. I want to lie and be like, yo, I was killing it. I wasn't. Got knocked out my last fight that literally knocked me into the business side of boxing. And since then, man, I've really been on it. But when I started managing fighters, I got a good glimpse of how messed up the business was and how the fighters always get the short end of the stick based off of there is no association, there is no union, there's nothing in place to protect the fighters. So I got a really good crash course at a young age of how messed up the business is. And once I developed a voice, once I developed a curriculum, and once I developed the ideas, at that point, I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm going to just do what my heart and my mind is telling me to do, and that's protect the fighters.
That's awesome, dog. So, like, there is often confusion, and Corey, I'm gonna take the question. There's a lot of confusion, like, why don't boxing do this? You know, you have a lot of new generation boxing fans who just got to boxing. You know, they're just now being introduced, and they don't understand the differences in why isn't there a union? Why isn't there protection? Why isn't there something for after they retire? Can you explain to our audience the biggest difference between boxers and most other sports, especially mainstream sports like NBA, NFL? Let them know what that biggest difference is.
Yeah, so with guys like LeBron James or Dak Prescott and I can't name a guy from the Texas Rangers, but those are all associated sports. Like all those guys are employees of the association. In boxing, they're not employees of anybody. All boxers are independent contractors. So if you're signed with Golden Boy, you don't work for Golden Boy. You're in a partnership essentially with them. They're your promoter, and the transaction is, they contract you to come in and fight, win, lose, or draw. They give you a paycheck, and then they'll call you when the next fight is there. But the biggest difference is the guys in the associated sports, they're employees of the associations, and guys in boxing, you're independent contractors. And you look at your contract, the last probably page of your promotional contract, it states clear as day that you're an independent contractor. The promoter is not responsible for your taxes or anything like that. So that's the biggest difference. One set is employees and others independent contractor.
Well, I know we're going to get into Errol Spence because I know you inked a deal with him recently. But let's talk about. Tell me, who was the first fighter that you inked a deal with that helped you cultivate to inking a deal with a lot of more fighters and now Errol Spence?
Jerry Belmontes, man. Jerry Belmontes, the Corpus Christi kid, was the first guy to believe in me, man. And I'll never forget that day flying back into Corpus after I graduated. He wanted to talk just about business in general, and come to find out he needed a manager. He had just got dropped by Top Rank, and his manager, Lou Mezzarana, God rest his soul, they both dropped Jerry at the same time. He just needed help, and he thought that me working with NBA players could help him out. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing, man, but I took the mindset of, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to let him know that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to figure this shit out on the fly. And I did. I figured everything out on the fly. And even though I still feel like I mismanaged Jerry because there was no education. I just literally had to figure things out myself. But to still make it to a world title and to make some money in the sport, while I did mismanage him, I still feel like I did a solid job for a guy that did not have an education in the business.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Now, when you first started that, right? You said you were kind of just learning as you go, learn as you go. Did you ever imagine? Now, I'd say that what I'm about to say, you're doing hella things. You're doing great things in the industry, in the sport. Your name's starting to spread like wildfire. So I say what I'm about to say, just kind of, I want to acknowledge this is just the tip of the iceberg, what we've seen from Mr. AC Clark thus far. But did you ever imagine when you were first working with Jerry that you could be at this point? Was this the goal? Like, did you think you could put all your everything into it and eventually see what you're seeing now?
Nah, man, I'd be lying to you if I was like, yeah, I thought it. Nah, bro. Like I honestly, even though a little bit of it is a blur, I just remember thinking, okay, I gotta make sure that Jerry's good. I gotta put everything into Jerry because I really did feel like it was gonna be me and Jerry forever. And I didn't think I was gonna have any more clients. It was like a Jerry Maguire type situation. That was my mindset. So all of this, from protect yourself at all times to everything that I've done in the sport, man, I never thought, especially at that time, that it was gonna amount to all of this. That's why I encourage people, like, bro, I don't care how stupid the ideal is or how far fetched it may be, bro, just do the shit because you really don't know where it's gonna end up. So, because I'm living witness of it. I never thought I'd become a boxing manager. I didn't know what the hell a boxing manager was until I graduated college. So I never thought it would get to this point.
And speaking of that, I be scrolling up my articles, right? So when you first started your business and being a manager and fighters management, it was just you. But when I was scrolling up my articles, I read something about how when you had your son, how that put a prospect and how it changed your mind and changed the game on everything in the way you look at it. Can you tell me how instrumental? Because we already knew, I already knew because I know you personally that you was a grinder. But can you tell me how that made you grind even harder when you had your son?
Bro, I was a pretty selfish individual because it was just me. It was always about me and me doing what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. And I think my grind then was really strong, but I was just grinding for myself, for the money. Essentially, is what it was about: money, and then the girls, of course. Um, but man, after seeing a birth of a child, your child, man, and then the little dude looked exactly like me.
Facts, dog.
Yeah,
Hell
it
yeah.
just it really did. It really put in perspective. Like, damn, everything that I've been doing since 2010, dating all the way back to when I got to college, graduating college. It was for me, but man, all of this has really been for him. And now it's on a different level because he's watching now. He's starting to understand what dad does, and like he's understanding kind of who he's around. Like he's been around Anthony Joshua and Errol Spence and
Yeah.
Derek and so many Jay Prince. He's been around so many different people, and he doesn't know the magnitude of how major these people are in this particular genre. But my work ethic and my mindset now is totally different because again he's watching, and now everything I do is for him. Literally everything I do, even the decisions I make, are all for him because one day this ends for me through death or through whatever, and everything goes to him. So it's I can't even put into words what my work ethic and my mindset is because my sons he means that much to me.
Oh, I love it, man. Look, so what we had planned to do is talk a little bit about the business of boxing, talk a little bit about recent fights, including the July 29th event where you had Errol and Gio there in your representation, and then kind of highlight your various projects from the show to the book to the education and all of it. So I want to talk a little bit about the boxing piece of it and the business piece of it. And we touched a little bit about it a little bit ago. But a big thing that always comes up, you working close to Errol, he brought it up. Bernard Hopkins has brought it up in the past. A lot of fighters brought it up in the past. But sanctioning fees, man. It's expensive to be undisputed from what we understand. So what do you know about this 3% that we always hear about? What's your thoughts on it, dog? Because when I hear 3%, let me say, AC, and you see a fight like the fight that just happened this weekend, or those huge mega fights, 3% doesn't sound like a lot. But when you start seeing that, we kind of start to understand why they favor certain names sometimes because they draw that money. What are your thoughts on it? Everything, all encompassing, dude.
I want to say this first. It's a business, man, and the WBC, BO, IBF, WBA, they all they put together their business and built them up to obtain profit and service and whatever. But my only issue with it, even though I feel like it's bullshit, my issue with it is with the fighters not having representation, the fighters not having a voice as far as a union or a council goes. Um, Everything is negotiable. Everything is negotiable. So I'm just trying to figure out who the WBA, the WBC, all the same. Who did y'all sit down with from the fighter side to agree to this 3% thing? Like two sides typically come to an agreement on what the number is going to be. So what's stopping the sanctions from going up to 5% in the next couple of years? What's stopping them from going up to 10% in the next few years? I respect. I don't knock nobody's hustle, but at the same time, I'm like, who are they talking to? Who did they talk to come to this number of 3%? I want to know the backstory of that, and then I don't want to know where the money's going because if someone came to me, it's like, oh well, where's the money from protect yourself at all times or whatever going? I'll tell them to go to hell. It's none of your business where the money's going. But I do want to know. Aside from, because I know Errol called out the WBC, he called out all the belt sanctions, asking where the money's going, and I saw Suleiman put up different pictures of WBC cares, them kissing babies and shit like that. That's cool and all, but like, what are y'all really doing for the fighters? Like, that's what I really want to see. I don't need to see no paper trail or y'all tax statements. That's y'all business. But I do want to know, what are y'all doing for the fighters, and are y'all open to negotiate in regards to these percentages or whatever it may be? Like, that's what I'm really like looking forward to in regards to meeting with these sanctions. One of my guys, Gustavo, is he's general counsel for WBO, And I'm like, yo, like I would love to sit down in an open forum with you and Paco to talk
Yeah.
about these things. I don't have a relationship with Suleiman, but I have a relationship with the WBO. Let's talk about this openly. So not only the fighters, but the fans and the reporters of boxing can hear exactly what it is you guys do, what the 3% is for, and then what you guys are doing for fighters moving forward. So not knocking them, but at the same time, there's a lot of shit that need answers, and the fighters need the answers. And I'm open to ask the questions, but I feel like these guys are not open to sit down and talk about this shit because it's been so quiet for years.
And speaking of that, another big thing that you did that you just keep doing, you just keep making moves happen. We keep seeing you explode with it, and we got to salute you on that. You inked a deal with Errol Spence. That's huge. The biggest fighter in our city, who put on and made Dallas a true boxing city. Now, is it any specifics you could tell us about the deal or partnership you and Earl
To
got?
be honest, bro, I mean, you know this, correct, bro? Me and he been working together for probably almost the beginning of his career. He and I've been cool since he went to the Olympics. So I've been having a relationship with E, and I've always been behind the scenes, putting in work for E. I mean, the Everlast deal that he had, I think we signed 2 or 3 contracts with them. I mean, he's the highest paid athlete at Everlast. So we had a great relationship with them. So it's always been there. I just think honestly, the situation with Fighters First is it's like a long time coming. We've been putting in work for years, man. Like, let's make this official rather than the whole behind the scenes thing. So, Errol I appreciate him for trusting me in regards to his career, man. Honestly, he has Al Heyman and Sylvia, two of the biggest figures in the sport of boxing that are involved in his career. So for him to think enough of me to add me and include me in his career, that just means a lot to me, man. And I don't know what's next. It's not on me to talk about what's next for his career or things of that nature. But he's always gonna have a friend in me, whether it's us doing business together or not. But I just appreciate all the work we've done because it's not just like the management side of things or the Everlast thing. He's been on two of my books. My first book, A Guide for Young Entrepreneurs, he wrote the foreword for that. And then I think Boxing Equals Life, he wrote the foreword for that. So there's numerous things that we've done together. You know what I'm saying? That's whether it's in boxing or even in the community, him coming to the rec center in Pleasant Grove where I grew up at, or us doing different things in the community, man. So it goes much further than boxing. I'm just appreciative to say that I've been a part of a guy that's a future Hall of Famer's career from the beginning.
And not to I'm sorry, Jason.
No, no.
Not to speak so much of what's next. Let's talk about July 29th. Right, with Earl Spence Jr. I commend Earl the True Spence Jr. He a warrior. Anybody who know Earl Spence or done been around Earl Spence know he is really like that. Yeah, it was a devastating loss that he had, but Earl Spence fought from round one until the fight was over. Can you tell me what was the feeling in the locker room after the fight?
Oh man, it was equivalent. I mean, I think I even teared up. Not because he lost. I've been a part of losses before. I've been in the locker room where like someone has lost before. I remember Jerry's first loss to Eric Hunter in Philadelphia, and it's like a somber, like melancholy feeling. You know what I'm saying? But Jerry didn't have kids at the time. But Errol had his daughters there and son there, and that brought a different feel to when they saw him after the fight and them run up to him, and that was tough. And then I still think so much of EJ, but to see it go down like that, and to see him after the fight, it does, man. Like it fucks with you. Excuse my language, but it does. And there's no way you can be in this business and be close to the fighters and see their face after the fight and not feel anything. So it was tough. I actually, man, I was sitting ringside, and I think after the second round, I left my seat and went back to the locker room to watch the fight because it just wasn't a good feeling, man. But One thing he texted me after the fight, he was like, "Yo, I feel like an amateur that just lost a tournament. The drive that I feel now is different." So I don't know what's gonna happen next, man. If it does happen again, it's compelling because if Errol can pull off a win, then it pulls a rubber match that is going to be even more exciting than the first one. But I imagine people are looking at this like, why do we even need to see a rematch because it was so one-sided? But I feel like this, man. I'm a competitor, and I know you guys are competitors. If I love basketball, and if I'm playing you one-on-one, in my mindset, bro, like you can't mess with me on the court, bro. If you beat me, there's no way we're not running it back, bro. There's no possible way I'm just leaving like, oh, well, he got the best of me, and like that's it. Like, nah, bro, we gotta run that back one more time. So I hope they fight again, and we'll see what happens from there.
So to that point, all right. So before the fight, it was Bud, Spence, the fan bases were nuts. Now you have the Bud fan base that said we don't want that fight. Nobody wants to see it. Then you have the Errol fan base that split. There's people who say, man, I don't want to see that again. Not yet, at least. And then you have the other side of the coin where folks are saying, let's go get that get back. Let's get our lick back. Now, I know you said you want to see it. Do you understand the other side of that, though, where this case was different? I understand your basketball analogy, but on that same coin, if you go and just get your ass whooped and it's, and there was no signs of it, are you asking for it to run it back? So do you understand the other side of that?
Of course, I definitely understand it, but it's like contracts most times don't mean shit until it's in the law. But I mean, there's a rematch clause, and if the rematch clause is picked up, regardless of who wants to see it and who don't, what I'm saying, that's what they essentially put together before this thing even came real. Like whoever loses, like you get a chance to redeem yourself if you choose to. So I understand why no one wants to see it again or whatever it may be, but again, it's rematch clause added to the contract and picks it up. Got to run it back. That's what it is.
Speaking of fighters, on July 29th, you had your fighter Gio.
Yeah.
Like me and JJ was discussing, before we came on here. Controversial. What they didn't call the knockdown. Like, tell me, then he lose by split decision, right? So tell me, how does that make you feel on the inside, being a promoter, knowing that your guy lost in the split decision and that knockout could have been the reason? Knockdown.
Yeah, I've been there before, man. Because I actually before I think on that Wednesday, I told our camp, I'm like, yo, Gio's gonna win by split decision. Like that's what I called it. So when I was standing on the apron and the ring announcer said, yo, we have a split decision, I'm like, all right, he pulled it off. But it did. I had to go back in the locker room to see the replay of it because when I saw it live, I'm like, yo, that was a knockdown. But under the ref was standing in a position where he really couldn't see it. But that was a shot to the body that dropped Cruz. Even if he was slipping, he still got hit with a shot before he hit the canvas. But that, like me and Derek always say, like, yo, that's the game, man. I wish they had instant replay in boxing to where you can challenge it in between the rounds, but the fight wasn't lost there. Even though I still feel like Gio, the fight should have been a draw, in my personal opinion. I don't feel like either guy did enough to come out as the clean-cut winner of the fight. Now, with the knockdown, of course, the decision would have been different. But without it, I'm like, bro, neither guy did enough to come out as the winner. Gio took some big shots. But he also did his job by boxing and using the entire ring for Pitbull Cruz. But Gio was disappointed afterwards because he gave Pitbull too much credit. He was like, bro, I thought he was going to be stronger than what he was. So I just felt like I couldn't get in too close. But after taking some shots, I should have put my foot on the gas, and I didn't. So I think Gio's going to come back a better fighter after that experience. But I've been a part of a bad split decision before with Belmontes and Omar Figueroa for a world title, so it didn't really hurt as much as it will for other people. But it sucks either way. But that's the game, man. That's the game.
Yeah, and you made a good point. He took Pitbull's shots. and a lot of people were expecting, this was a lot of people's introduction to Gio.
Right.
Isaac made his deal. Isaac got a huge following with the Tank Davis fight. So he picked up some fans, I think, and he had a good performance when a lot of folks weren't expecting much. We saw him get a unanimous decision, and I think he dropped Gabe Flores, right? Gabe Flores, a good friend of the.
He dropped Gabe like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. So that was so he's got the goods. What's next for him? Like, what do you got? What are y'all thinking? What are y'all lining up? Is there any big? What's that look like?
I mean, I saw enough with G to where I feel like G could. It's not the point of like trying to make him a pay-per-view fighter. I feel like offensively, he have to become more exciting for him to be a draw of that nature. However, I feel like 2 wins in a row, 2 good wins, could take Gio to a fight of where he could get a big fight with maybe a Shakur or a Frank Martin or something of that nature. I just don't want to throw him back in with another big fight after coming off of a loss against a Cruz. I want to get his confidence even more back up there by getting him a win or 2 in a row. Then after your confidence is high, man, then you hop in with a tough fight. You know what I'm saying? A guy that, is whether it's a 70-30 fight or a 60-40 fight, he's going to have his work cut out for him. But it's a process, and you got to have a strategy, and you can't just throw your guys back in with another big fight just to get a big paycheck. You have to be strategic, and I feel like 2 wins and then another big fight, that's the route we want to go with Gio.
Well, just speaking hypothetically, if he does get 2 more wins, like you say, you have a great relationship with a Man Down Promotion, CEO of that, Errol Spence. It's a fighter there in Frank Martin. That's a fight that could be easily made, right?
Yeah, no, Gio's not going to say, like, the fighters, and I strongly believe this, the fighters are not saying no to fighting another fighter. But it's a guy like me or Jolene Lazone, who manages like the Fighters of Fighters First, will say no based off of the money or the different concessions that are there. So no, Gio will be open to fight Frank Martin. Even Shakur is going to be a tough fight, but these are all guys in the division. So if he wants to fight or be the best, you got to fight against the best. There is no, I don't know about like, bruh, he's in the division. He's going to be champ. You got to fight a guy like that, and you got to go in and give it your all. Hopefully catch him, or we have a strategy involved to try to get him out of there. But there's no saying, he's not going to say no to a fight. But if it don't make sense on the business end for us, then yeah, we'll be saying no to a certain fight.
So I'm glad that's why we got somebody like you on here who's in the business, who can really break it down.
I know where we're going. Go ahead.
Very much articulately, right? So what you telling us, it's going to be guys like you who say no. The fighters always want to fight. So that brings a new dimension to everybody can really understand how the business go. Do you think it was justified that Frank Martin got as much criticism as he did for not taking that career fight, or was it unjustified?
Oh no, it was justified, but it was justified because, and I told Frank this, and I'm speaking very candidly, all fighters need representation. You need someone talking for you. It's like, I think Martin said it before, like, you have your people call my people, you know what I'm saying? And that's the way it's supposed to go. There's no reason why fighters should be negotiating their own deals or talking numbers. That's not what they're educated in. It's not what they do. Like, even though I feel like fighters should know their business, Frank should know the numbers, but he shouldn't be negotiating the numbers himself. I've seen people think they can handle business, and then they come into a boardroom and they can't get the words out, or they just can't ask for what they want. It's not something. It may seem easy on the outside looking in. It's like Floyd always say, it look easy on the outside. It's different once you get in there. Same thing with negotiating, bro. You may think you can ask for $2 million, but once the opportunity's there, most people really can't. So I do think it was justified because he did not have someone speaking for him. However, I do agree with Frank. Frank shouldn't have fought Shakur Stevenson for a flat $1 million because, like, once everything is chopped up and he has to pay Derek and whoever else, I'm not even factoring in taxes, just the point of paying people. But you're not going home with $1 million. And for a guy like Shakur Stevenson, who that's going to be Frank's toughest fight, like I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard as hell to beat Shakur Stevenson, even look good against him. So for that, nah, bro, like you want to negotiate up and you want to go home with $1 million, even after you pay everyone, you still want to deposit a check for $1 million for a guy like Shakur Stevenson. So I understand the backlash of it because how it was put out there. However, I'm 100% behind Frank. If it was left up to me and we were negotiating, oh no, we're not doing this. But it would have fell on us as a management company to where, oh well, Frank's management company overpriced him. They asked for too much money. That would have been the narrative. It would never been a situation of well, Frank Martin was scared or Frank Martin ducked. You want to protect your client, and that's what we would have done on Frank's behalf, protect him, and it would have fell on us, not on him, because he definitely took an ass kicking in the media because of how it came out.
It was terrible. Hell, even for like we saw both sides of the argument. You want to take advantage of the opportunity while it's there because it might not ever be there again. Same time, you want to protect yourself, you want to protect your future, all that. That argument will go on forever. Like and people are gonna keep going back and forth. Should he have done it? Whatever. My question more is though, you're saying he didn't have the proper representation. Somebody accepted that fight. Was it Errol at man down or
I don't that part of the conversation, like I don't the details of it, but it goes like this, bro. If, like I said earlier, all fighters, there's no one that's gonna be like, oh no, I don't want to fight that guy.
Yeah.
If you ask someone like, yo, you want to fight Shakur Stevenson, dude gonna be like, hell yeah, run that shit. Like, let's do it. But if you take that as them agreeing to the fight, then things. It's not the point of being lost in translation, but that's why fighters need representation because Frank may say, oh yeah, I'll fight whoever. That's all cool, but in regards to the particulars, in regards to the numbers, that's where representation needs to come in. So I don't know who agreed to what, but if someone just said, yo, do you want to fight such and such, and the fighter said, hell yeah, I'll do it, but there's no dollar amount, there's nothing agreed to, then no, a fight, technically it wasn't agreed to. Just someone said that, yeah, I'll fight him, but if the numbers are not right, like Frank has a case. It's just it sucks it went out the way that it did, but an agreement is when everything, literally everything, is agreed to. If everything is not agreed to, then you don't have a fight.
And this one thing that I hate we missed this year. Me and JJ had things going on at the time. I called you and asked you were there still tickets available, and you said yeah, but I didn't know we had other things planned out. Not only are you a promoter, not only did you graduate college, not only did you manage fighters, not only is you a best selling author, you produced a film, Divorced Behavior, man. That's extraordinary. Can you talk to us about that, Adrian?
Man, I'm a creative, man, and honestly, I'm really deep in my creative bag nowadays, man. To where if I think of it, I'm just gonna do it. So the film I actually directed and produced. My man Travis is right here to my right now. Filming. He's the one that the production company behind Protect Yourself at All Times, the beginning. We're still
shout out to Travis. Shout out to
Travis.
Salute to Travis.
Yeah, we Everlast is going to release the film. We're trying to find a date that makes sense because we finished it. About a year ago? We finished about a year ago, but we're still waiting on that release date. I had a screening at IPIC movie theaters in like Frisco area, but I've yet to release the film. But Everlast is going to put it out on their platform. But for Divorce Behavior, man, that was actually like a comedy show. It was like a dark comedy, me kind of making light of divorce and talking about things that kind of went on in my divorce and how to heal from everything that happens, with divorce and getting over your feelings and emotions and shit like that. So for me, man, again, if I can think it in my head, I'm gonna just do it. And I love the execution process, thinking of something in my head and then figuring out how to get it into my hands or into the viewership of other people. That's just something that I'm really ecstatic about. So these are not the only two projects I'm gonna do. I'm pretty sure there's other movies and different things in my head that I'm gonna do going forward. It's just for right now, boxing is my focal point.
Nice. Yeah, I was reading up on it. It says questionable statements on divorce, sex, and the journey to healing. And man, it's kudos to you, dog. Salute to you, because you're taking serious issues that a lot of us go through, a lot of people go through, you're making it a comedy, but you're hitting a home run with some healing, man. It's stuff that all of us need. So again, we're having conversations about you helping people get better, whether that's managing fighters, whether that's educating them. So again, like I said at the beginning of the show, you're just all around. I almost put this in the title, just all around good guy. You gotta salute to you for that, bro.
No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Talk a little bit about I've got some juicy questions I want for you, but let's talk a little bit about the Protect Yourself at All Time brand. Sounds like an education platform for boxers, right? But just kind of tell us a little bit about it for those who are watching and kind of give us an idea.
Well, Protect Yourself at All Times is pretty much, everything I learned from managing Jerry, and it just showed me how. Think about USA Boxing. USA Boxing is where everyone, especially in the US, they have to start. That's like their college experience, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they really learning? What are you learning as an amateur aside from fighting? I feel like USA Boxing does a extremely poor job of educating the fighters and preparing them for the professional ranks outside of the ring. Like even think about NCAA. You may be a student athlete, but they're preparing you both ways. You're getting prepared for possible NFL or NBA play on the field, on the court, but you're also being prepared for life outside of the field or the competition that you're in. But for boxing, I've been to USA Boxing events, man, and I actually passed out like 500. I passed out 500 books
Wow.
at the Nationals, and I gave everyone a book. Everyone that was in line, every fighter, every trainer, I gave them a free Protect Yourself at All Times book. But I noticed something that um, that I didn't like. The registration tables. The fighters were not at the registration tables. The fighters were forced to either go sit down or they were either trying to make weight. The coaches filling out the paperwork and shit. No, it shouldn't be that way, bro. Like from 8 or 9 years old all the way up to their 17 or 18, it should be the fighters up there registering themselves, learning how to handle the paperwork. Now their fighters can, their trainers can be there beside them to help them with certain things, but I feel like USA Boxing, they program the fighters backwards, and they're programming them to automatically depend on everyone else to handle your business. You don't handle your business.
Yeah, man.
You just focus on fighting. So you do amateur boxing for a decade, you're programmed to someone else handle. The coach is going to handle that. Everything with paperwork, everything to do with business, coach handles that. I just fight. You're not going to turn it on as a businessman once you go pro. You're stuck in that program, and so that's why fighters don't know. Like I ask the guys all the time, well, where's your promotional contract? Where's your management contract? Oh, well, I don't know. My coach got that. Why? Your name, you signed it. Like you should have that. So I just feel like they do a poor job. But with Protect Yourself at All Times, I created that curriculum. I wrote that book for fighters, especially the amateurs. I wrote it for their families, especially the dads and the moms, for them to understand the business side of this and help educate their son or their daughter on what they need to know to protect themselves from this business, because consistently for decades it's been the fighters getting the short end of the stick. You don't see managers or promoters come shows like, oh man, I lost it all, or I don't have any money because they took advantage of me. It's always the fighters, because they don't know what they're signing. They're not paying their taxes. They're not planning for a retirement. They're not understanding their money. And that's what Protect Yourself at All Times gives them. It gives them a crash course education on what it means to pay your taxes. We break down what $1 million looks like after you pay your manager, your trainer, your cut man. And it's not $1 million once it's all broken down. So all those things, it may be common sense to the common folk, but for most fighters, man, they don't think about the business side. And that's what Protect Yourself at All Times does.
And just, dude, and I love it, dog. Like Corey and I got a soft spot in our heart for for the boxer, the human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
entertainers, a showman, and all that. Corey and I are working on our own, our own charity called the TSB Warrior Foundation for post, for folks that have been affected permanently, But I love what you're doing here because, like, let me break it down to the folks who might not think about it. You see a AB, Adrian Broner, who just went through his money, and you see him on social media, and you're just like shaking your head. Listen, when you're a young person, young attractive person. No, don't even add attractive. You're a young person who comes across millions of dollars, and if you're educated, that's a hard thing to ask of a young, early 20-year-old dude to manage his money right. Now we're asking people that grew up in the hood, man. Like, boxing is a poor man's game. It's a poor man's sport because it is rough. You're starting young. The goal is to get out of the hood, get out of poverty. That's just the way our sport is. These people have no education on what to do with their money. So of course, when they get paid, they're going to do dumb shit with it. They're going to spend it on girls, party, booze. It's so damn important for them to have a voice and education. And I love what you're doing because not only are you educating them and sending them out into the real world, but you have Fighters First Management that I imagine you guys are working together to reinforce that education. Can you tell us a little bit about that piece of it?
Yeah, so I actually, man, I stopped managing fighters 2017, I believe it was, 17 or 18, right when Ace was born. And I was just doing consulting. I was consulting with a television network, and it was Fight Network, actually, trying to bring boxing content to Fight Network. And I was still helping out fighters, but managing was not something that I was doing. And even now, I still don't manage fighters. I'm into building things, building companies. And I was approached 2022, I believe it was. I was approached by a gentleman by the name of David Basha out of Georgia, Woodstock, Georgia. He read Protect Yourself at All Times, and he wanted to start a management company. He just, he was a successful businessman. He didn't know where to start, but smart businessmen know, I'm going to allocate the funds to build something, but I'm not going to build it. I'm going to have someone else build it for me. So he told me all he had was a name. And he said the name was Fighters First Management. And I was like, okay. I'm like, yo, I like that. And he was reciting my book to me. This guy's 63 years old, man, older white guy that's sitting there reciting my book to me. And I'm like, yo, this is like really trippy right now. But he asked me, would you want to like build up the company for me? And I was like, you know what? This is something I want a week to think about it, but this is something that I think I want to do. And it took me 3 days, man. I was like, yeah, I'm game. And I was like, I just got a few kind of concessions. One, I'm not managing fighters. I'll build up this company. I'll run the company, make sure it's profitable. I'll even recruit the guys, but I'm not managing the fighters. I want one manager in particular who's not a manager right now, and that was Jolene Mazzone. Jolene Mazzone was matchmaker for main events for decades. She built up Sergey Kovalev, got Zab Judah back going, Curtis Stevens. Like Jolene knows boxing, and I approached her with the idea. She thought I was crazy at first, but now you see she's not managing, she's not promoting anymore. And my mindset by hiring her was, all right, what manager has ever went from promoting to managing? Because if you're a promoter or a matchmaker, you know the contract, you know the numbers, you know the business. So we're at a huge advantage. Jay Prince may be one of the best. Al Heyman may be one of the best. Frank Espinosa, Keith Conley, they're great managers. However, none of them have been promoters, so they don't know what the other side looks like. Jolene is one of one in regards to what she does, essentially. So once they agree that I'm not going to manage and Jolene can come on board, people are going to see, and this is not going to be a 5-year or 10-year thing. Within the next couple of years, Fighters First Management, the company, will be the best management company to be with in the sport of boxing, because we're not charging outrageous managerial fees in regards to representing the fighters, and we're teaching you about the business as we go, man. So shout out to every other management company or every other manager in the sport, but you guys are going to see in the next few years there's going to be a shift. And I don't say this braggadociously, but I do. I'm going to lead the shift, because not only am I going to build up the best management company, as you see with the boxing manager certificate, the course is going to come out tomorrow. I'm going to groom like aspiring managers to get in the sport, because I think about where I came from. Where I came from as a 23-year-old guy that didn't know anything about the business. Now it's my turn to teach those guys what I didn't know and get them ready to take over the sport of boxing. Because right now, boxing does a poor job of proteges. Like, Don King was on top at one point. I don't know who he groomed to take over things when he was done. I don't know who Bob Arum has groomed to take over things. Same thing with Al Heyman or Jay Prince. I don't know who these guys are grooming to take over things. And honestly, as shitty as the sport is, I don't think anybody's grooming anybody, man. It's just
No, man.
they can't
Me,
be.
me, 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 me.
That's what it's
All it
about.
is.
That's what it's about. And it's damn near like a buddy system almost. I look at like some of the judges and the ref, I'm like, bro, how the hell is this old ass dude sitting rings? Like, he can barely see. How can he judge a fight and he can't really see many things that's going on inside the ring? So there's a system that goes on that it's not the point of it needs to being broken. It's just the point someone like myself just needs to come in and just say, honestly, fuck it. We're going to do it this way. And no matter how long it takes, bro, we're just going to kick down doors or break windows or whatever until the change comes. But it starts with the fighters. I'm not going to the WBC or I'm not going to the promoters like, please, let's make this change. Fuck that. I'm going to the fighters and I'm letting them know, bro, not only can I provide you education, instruction on how to move within this business, I'm giving that to you essentially for free. I just need you to kind of follow me in regards to building a voice for fighters to further protect y'all and get y'all certain things in regards to this business. But I'm not asking boxing or the promoters not asking them for shit, for them to tell me no or ignore me. Like, nah, like forget that.
And that's very influential, right? Because see, the thing, this scary to a lot of promoters. This scary to other managers because these other managers who managing these fighters, they're not giving them the proper education. How you're giving education about the business of the sport of boxing. See, with a guy like you coming in, now I understand that you in the game, and I know you don't care what people think of you. But with a guy like you coming in, giving out all this information, who these other managers don't want to give the information out, there is going to be a target on you. Is that fair to say?
Honestly, bro, I don't think anybody cares because I was told when I first started this, and I saw y'all have Bernard Hopkins on. I actually had Bernard. I had B Hop in Dallas. Like B Hop came to Dallas for about a day and a half. Him, B Hop, Malik, and his accountant Jake. I think that was his name. And I took them around Dallas. Like we actually walked to the JFK Memorial and walked back to the hotel. But we had long conversation about protect yourself at all times and how the fighter should be protected. Because B Hop was a part of the Muhammad Ali Act that John McCain essentially put into play. But most people don't know what the hell the Muhammad Ali Act is or how to act on the Muhammad Ali Act. So there's been certain people that I've met with or talked to, bro, that they never believed from the beginning. From 2016 to now, they didn't believe that this is something that could be effective or that could help out fighters. So I don't really think anybody cares because it's not directly affecting them right now. But I always say, man, just give it time. You'll feel the effects of it. But like a guy like Jay Prince or Frank Espinosa, even Al Heyman, like they shouldn't care essentially about it because it's not going to affect them essentially. But if there's a younger manager or someone that's not relatively known that's trying to get into the sport, I'm going to make sure that it's hard on them, especially if they're not doing it the way that we see fit or the right way. Then it's going to be difficult on them. But I don't think there's a target on my back. But shit, if there is, come on with it. I'm at these, bro. I'm at these shows essentially by myself most of the time. So if anybody, I've said this before, it's not the point of being no tough guy or no violent shit. Like, yo, if there's an issue or you got something you want to say, bro, come up to me. Like we can talk it out or whatever it may be. But
not necessarily be a target where it's violence, but
no, I feel you. But yeah,
It's scary for some guy like you to come into business who we never heard speak like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but honestly, and this is why, again, the boxing manager certificate is going to be important. again, I bring up Jay.
Love that, man.
Like, I appreciate it. Jay Prince, music mogul. You know what I'm saying? He made his millions in music. His start in boxing was different. Al Heyman, you know what I'm saying? Very successful Ivy League guy. He promoted the Michael Jackson Bad Tour. His start in boxing was totally different. Most people that get into the sport of boxing, they're going to begin their careers exactly like me. A young guy that's inexperienced, that really knows nothing about the industry. You're trying to look for anything to latch on to or any type of education that can help push you forward in regards to your career. And for me, I didn't have anything to help me out, bro. Before I created Protect Yourself at All Times and the Boxing Manager Certificate, I would Google things and I'm like, damn, I can't find anything. I don't know what to do. So I learned on the fly. So me creating this educational platform in regards to boxing in general, man, it's just something that's going to help out majority of people that want to be in the boxing industry. You're not going to start like Al Heyman. You're not going to start like Jay Prince. Your start in boxing management is probably going to be just like Adrian Clark, young guy that's figuring it out or trying to figure it out. It's just luckily for you guys, based off of what I went through, you guys have an educational platform now that could help you hit the ground running as a manager rather than you're trying to figure this shit out on the fly, which, bro, this shit ain't for the faint of heart. I've seen guys come in hungry, I'm gonna get it. They don't last 6 months in it, bro. So the boxing manager certificate is going to be very, very vital for the young aspiring managers. If you're older guy, I don't expect you to take it. The younger guys, man, you trying to get in it, this is the direction to go.
Dog, I love it, man. Hey, I've got, I know we're getting close to time. I have one Errol Spence question. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back and wrap it up. But I do have an Errol Spence follow-up.
Gotcha.
We all have battles. We fight. We train. We work. We persevere. And we celebrate. We are all one.
I can't do anything if I can't walk in my prosthetic. It's a lot of pain that I feel throughout my day. It can be very intense. Now I just put that balm over it and it will heal up much faster and it will let the callus recover. That's amazing. It is a total game changer. I am hooked. I am absolutely, I'm just hooked.
Life is hard. KO makes it better. KOCBD.com.
No, right? No.
Check out KOCBD.com. Check out our homies over there. Use the discount code TSB10. We appreciate our homies over at KO Therapeutics. We're here with best author, CEO, boxing manager, just all around do good for people guy, Adrian Clark. We appreciate you joining the show, man. A lot of great info tonight. I just had one question that, I wanted to ask, and if you answer, it's up to you, but I feel like we owe it to the people, especially here in Dallas. We've been hearing buzz. Corey and I heard a buzz of certain things that may or may not have happened during training camp with Errol. Maybe not as prepared. Sparring wasn't right. Then last week we see Michael J. White, the actor on I forget where it was.
Vlad TV. I think it was Vlad.
Was it Vlad TV? Say that he had an insider from the camp say that Errol just wasn't right leading up to the fight. Are you able to? And I ask this respectfully. Obviously that's your boy, and we it's our. We don't want to smear anybody's name, but do you have any insight on that?
No, I mean, I think Errol would have. He's straight up. He would have told y'all after the fight. He said no excuses. Like he got that's what I know. That I didn't hear anything about. I've heard the different rumors, but honestly, it's been comical to watch or to hear the different rumors that are out there, bro. But I can't. That was not a situation where I was told, "Oh man, well he's not right" or something's going wrong. That was never put out there to me. So I just feel like with the internet being the way that it is, everyone's going to have something different to say about it. I would like to think that Terrence Crawford is not that much better than Errol than what we saw that night. So, I don't believe any fighter goes into any fight 100%. Like at the max, you may be 95 or 90%. There's different things that happen leading up to certain fights, but I didn't hear anything on my end of, oh, well, he's not right or something is going on. But he even said out of his mouth, like, no excuse, man. Like, he got me tonight. So I don't know how an actor got an insider from inside the camp or like Derek don't really let anybody into that gym. So unless it was a sparring partner that told, bro, I have no clue. So
Well,
that's
yeah. We appreciate that insight just to, clear that room up because, like I said, Errol Spence ain't the type of guy who make no excuses. I used to be in the gym with this guy on a daily, and see this guy take it to everybody, whether you was a welterweight, a middleweight, a cruiserweight, or a heavyweight. Errol Spence was that guy in the ring, so he ain't gonna make no excuses. That's not how Errol built. Errol built different. That's why he was able to accomplish 3 belts in the 147-pound division and take his career to the next level and damn near make $100 million in the business and got much more money to make in the future. But Adrian Clark, we appreciate you coming on, sir. We will gladly appreciate if we can get you sometime in the future, anytime you have anything coming up. Your boxing mind is great. The knowledge that you got in the business of boxing is extraordinary, and that's what me and JJ is about. We need that type of word spread to all the people out here who follow us, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all the social media networks.
Yeah, before you go, tell us where we can find your books, the show. I mean, is the show getting back on? What's up with that?
We'll be talking for a couple more minutes if I go through everything, bro. The main thing, bro, I'm really the release of the Boxing Manager Certificate, the online course that I partnered with Teachable.com. The course will be open tomorrow, man. So that's really the main point. So go to Teachable.com and subscribe or enroll in the course. And it's about a 45-minute course with different quizzes in between each round. If you're really looking to be a boxing manager in the sport, this is something that you really need to get started with your career. As far as the 5 books that I have, man, you can go on Amazon.com and you can find whichever one on Amazon. Just put my name in. But yeah, that's really it, man.
Well, man, we appreciate you. Like Ray said, dog, we appreciate everything you're doing for the sport of boxing, moving it forward. And the goal is here 10, 20 years from now, it's a cleaned up sport. It's a better sport. With folks like you, it can happen, man. So we appreciate you. Have a good night. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, bro. Respect, man. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Later, brother. Cool, Ray Bradshaw. Nice
to
know.
Man.
Cool to have.
That was a great interview right there, JJ.
Yeah.
Man.
A little bit of everything. I wish we had more time because I felt like we were cramming it, but man, it's
he gave us everything we needed to know. Yes, he is a part of the Errol Spence team and managing him. But JJ, like he said, he been behind this. I know this for a fact. He been behind the scenes working with Errol and working with Derrick James for a long, long time. I can remember, bro, when I first came into the game, man, he had a party at the Omni, JJ. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Like when I tell you that dude, Adrian Clark is a good dude. He a good dude, man, because he look at you for who you are. He don't look at you for what you got going on with the next man or this man. The relationship y'all got, that's what he focused on. And I got much love for that dude. And I correct him when I came into the game in 2016. He was a prominent player, right? And he always reached his hand out to me and always showed me love. So, I'm always show Adrian Clark love, man.
Well, all right, brother. Well, that was episode 48.
48, baby.
Yeah, 48. For those of you guys,
50.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. We ask that y'all please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please share this. And please let y'all friends know we're just pushing boxing. We're just pushing boxing. So, Corey, have yourself a hell of a night. I'll talk to you soon later this week. And tell the family what's up for me, big dog.
Likewise, my guy.
Take it easy. This is JJ Solomon.
This Corey Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.